Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this weekend edition of the Weekend Wrap-Up Show. I'm David Thomas, and this is Mr. Josh Blevins, the bird dog, sitting across in front of
I
me.
don't know about that, but yes, it is the weekend, and we're wrapping up.
Yes, so, and I noticed you've got your Southern Cup this morning, and I got my David's
brewed
cabinet.
in the office.
Brewed in the office cup.
Brewed in the office coffee. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Yeah.
So anything happening this morning, Josh, that's going on out in the community that people need to know about?
Going on out in the community. I think War Trace is having cars and coffee right now.
Right, cars and coffee.
Cars and coffee. So drink your coffee and look at your cars. So
all right, that's
going on this morning. So, and I think there's fireworks at it. What's the river, whatever, the ranch thing tonight over in Normandy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, River Bend.
Right. Okay, so they're having an early fireworks.
They're having their fireworks still tonight. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
It's $20 carload, something like that. So it's all over Facebook.
So, okay. Yep. All right, so it's a fundraiser.
Probably. Yeah,
okay.
I'm assuming. I don't
know.
Yeah,
that sounds like they're raising funds.
You're
not on top of that.
I'm not on top of that one at all. So I'm not going to watch the fireworks, but I'm sure it'll be a good thing.
So, Right now we have the state 4-H horse show championships over here at Cooper Steel Arena. Celebration Grounds.
All right.
So all the competitors across the state of Tennessee, it's an annual event that is held here since it's centrally located. So you've got kids from West Tennessee to East Tennessee around. And that's interesting and fun. If somebody would like to go through and check out a bunch of horses, you can go over to the showgrounds.
Go over and watch the horses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's all I know that's going on, Josh. Yeah. Before we dive into the news that matters, let's hear from our sponsors today. We've got Dennis Young Insurance and Cutting Edge Optical, and we've got the Dream Team,
the Arnolds from Coldwell Banker.
Coldwell Banker. Yeah, let's hear a word from them, and we'll dive into a pretty good list of stuff, Josh.
There's a few things going on.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
For clear vision and trusted care, choose Cutting Edge Optical. We offer comprehensive eye exams powered by 20/20 exams, expert contact lens fittings, and a wide selection of quality frames to match your style and budget. Need glasses fast? We even offer same-day eyeglasses to keep you seeing clearly without the wait. Our experienced team is committed to personalized service and helping you see your best every day. Visit Cutting Edge Optical at 1114 North Main Street in Shelbyville or call 931-488-5778 to schedule your appointment today.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
When you're ready to buy or sell in Middle Tennessee, you want someone who knows this community inside and out. Meet Diane and Madison Arnold, Shelbyville's trusted real estate team with decades of local experience and award-winning results. Whether it's finding your dream home, pricing your property to sell, or navigating every step of the transaction with confidence, they're with you from start to finish. As part of Coldwell Banker Southern Realty, they pair hometown expertise with powerful market tools to help you move with confidence. Call Diane and Madison today and experience the personal service and local knowledge that makes all the difference.
Alrighty. Welcome back in here to the weekend wrap-up. Just a note from last week, we didn't have a whole lot going on, Josh, and you had a conflict. I had a big-time conflict, so
yes, we couldn't be. We were unavailable last week.
Very unavailable.
And
we appreciate everybody joining us back this morning.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. So we're here again. So
and good morning, Chuck Glover. We see you in there.
Yes, hello, Chuck. Welcome in. So,
Josh, I know you got a pretty good list of stuff, and of course, Uncle Nearest is up here at the top of the list. You gonna start with him?
Yeah, that's the one I continue to get the most questions on when I'm out and about. What's going on with Uncle Nearest? We hadn't talked about him in definitely a few weeks because it'd been kind of quiet on the court front.
Right.
And then within the last week or two, there was a brief court order, and we report on all this on the Facebook page. The judge allowed the receiver to sell the house in Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that sale has completed yet, but he has authorization to do it. However, even though there's some money coming out of that sale, they're not letting anything go back to Farm Credit yet. So they're just going to hold it in escrow account. And he said, we got to work through this whole mess. So just stick it in the bank and let it sit there, but you can't have it, but we'll go ahead and sell the property. And then honestly, I was a little behind the curve on this. There's already feels like 85 court cases going on. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I think it's like 4 or 5 currently in federal court. And then another one popped up about 3 weeks ago that I hadn't even caught. I get notifications on from federal court on anything that goes on with Uncle Nearest. This one came in under the name of Humble Baron, the world's longest bar there on the property. And they 3 weeks ago filed for bankruptcy themselves. They had some outstanding loans, some kind of business finance loans, short-term loans to try to kind of bridge loans to try to get through some financial issues. And one of those lenders was able to get some kind of a court order, some kind of a legal action that actually was able to freeze their bank account and suck all the money out. Oh. So they suddenly had no access to money for that business. So they immediately filed bankruptcy. And in the course of that, the receiver has now come in and said he's jumped into that case, which is now about 3 weeks old, and said, yeah, this business is on the property of Uncle Nearest. It's not making its rent payment. He's alleging like $65,000 behind on rent. He said it's just a drain on the whole operation right now. He's asking the judge to just let them evict them from the property, which I don't think means like throw their stuff out in the street or anything. Right. I think he just wants to shut it down for the moment because he says they're not making money. We're already losing in all these different other ways. This is one more thing he'd like to
I noticed the lease payment was $5,000 a month. So you're looking at about a year's worth there.
Yeah, of unpaid lease payments. So I don't know if this will be a different, again, I think this may be federal case number 5 going on now, maybe the 6th one. I don't know. I've lost track. But either way, this is a totally different court case. It's in federal bankruptcy court. This will probably be a different judge. So this judge will have to rule on whether or not they can evict or basically close down Humble Baron at this point. They're currently operating, last I saw from their posts online, I think they're operating 3 days a week. They're open 4 to 5 hours a day, 3 days a week. So I don't know. It would be unfortunate. They do still have 4 employees, it said in the filing. So that would be 4 more people put out of work if that happened. But the whole thing is just, there was some additional just procedural filings. The judge is asking them to go ahead and start moving on the initial lawsuit. He said, they're almost a year into court. They're 10 months in now. He's like, we got to get a schedule going. We got to move on the underlying issue of how much money do they owe to Farm Credit? How much are they going to be able to pay to Farm Credit? So he set up for them to come back with a bunch of filings and stuff. But the way he's got it laid out, this thing could drag on for another year and a half. And the receiver already recently had said, hey, they don't have a few months left of runway, or there's not enough money to make this work.
There's how much is it going to be worth the longer this goes too?
Longer it goes, the more money that's being lost. So we'll see. There's going to have to be something negotiated.
Well, honestly, the assets itself, though, a value to another company that might want to buy it. The longer this goes, the more that goes down too, because you're looking at the potential of a deterioration of a brand name.
Yeah, the brand name is definitely not doing well. So we'll stay on top of it. That's kind of where it's at right now. It's still up there in limbo. Lots of court cases going on. Hard to keep up with them. There's so many right now. But we'll do what we can there. As far as local government news, Tuesday evening, the County Financial Management Committee met at 4:15. As they always do. There was something that was glossed over in that meeting, and I'm going to try to explain it. I'm going to say honestly, it's a little inside baseball, and I don't think that even
inside baseball,
a little bit inside baseball. I'm not sure even a lot of the commissioners or finance committee really grasped what happened. There were no real questions asked on the little 2 minutes that they kind of glossed over it. So I'm going to dig into it a little bit deeper, try to explain it a little bit as best I can. I think I do kind of grasp what's going on because I was involved on some of this on the back end. The initial county budget that was handed out to everybody several weeks ago had a little section in the back where they calculate how much property tax is coming in for the upcoming year.
Right.
It's what they call the penny math. They tell you how much a penny of property tax generates for the county.
Right.
In that penny math section, it had a formula where they calculated there's 3 different types of property tax. You property tax real property,
right,
which is buildings and land,
Right.
which can be residential, commercial, whatever. You raise taxes on personal property, business personal property, which I know we don't like that one. We don't like that
I
one.
hate that mess.
But that's the ink pen sitting here. That's
Yes,
the table.
yes.
That's that TV. you're looking
Elvis,
at.
the whole works,
That's
man.
the inventory.
The
at
air in the
Walmart.
building.
Not the air, but
Trust me, they're taxing.
they're
the air.
taxing whatever they can. So yeah, anything a business
Right.
owns that's not the business in the land. So inventory, equipment.
Could I say this for the
yeah.
people that don't understand? If I keep this and this is available next year, I got to pay tax on it again next year
you
too.
got to pay tax on it over and over again. Now you get to depreciate it, so you pay a little bit less each year. But
Okay,
yeah.
whatever.
So that's type number 2. And there's actually a third one, which is utilities. The utility companies, they pay a tax on their infrastructure value, and that's actually set. The state evaluates that. The county doesn't even, they don't appraise that or anything. So the real property, they only reprice it every 5 years. They go in and do an appraisal every 5 years. So quote unquote, in years 3 and 4, you're getting a deal on your property tax because obviously the value of your building and your land theoretically has gone up in those 5 years.
Yeah.
So the businesses and the utilities aren't getting the same deal. So they get what's called a ratio applied. So last year, your businesses on their personal property and your utilities only had to pay 62% of whatever their tax bill would have been because they had to get the same deal
Right.
that the other property owners got. We just had a reappraisal, so that ratio goes away. Now the businesses, the utilities, everybody has to pay 100% of whatever their tax bill is going to be.
Yep.
The budget binder that was handed out to everybody a few weeks ago accidentally had last year's ratio still in there, the 62%. That reduced the value, the assessed value of the personal property and the utility property by $80 million. So it underestimated the amount of property that was going to be taxed by $80 million. That's about $1.2 million in taxes that would come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some nosy city councilman noticed that and pointed that out, and they looked at it, and after some discussion said, well, gosh darn it, you're right.
Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it. Yeah, we did accidentally leave that in there. So, however, after a little more magic math, they come back and said, you know what, though? We've been for the last several years, and they didn't give a number, but it was all the years I've been watching. This is budget number 4 for me. We've been calculating our tax revenue based on a 4%, 4% of people not paying their bill on time.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to figure not everybody's going to pay their tax bill. Things happen, economy. Right. So we've been calculating based on 4%. But we went back and looked at the most recent year, and you know what? 5.7% of people didn't pay it on time.
Okay.
So we're going to
raise that up.
So we're going to raise that delinquency rate up to 6%. So that 1.2 million, we don't have 1.2 million extra anymore. Now that gets us down to only about $450,000 extra dollars that weren't in the budget that we handed out to everybody.
Okay.
And then they said, you know what? Gosh darn it. The sales taxes for the last couple months, they don't look like they're doing so good. So we feel like the economy is going to take a bit of a dive here very soon. So we're going to take that amount, the penny amount, which at that point it hit $217,700. And we're going to round it down to $214,500 per penny.
Okay.
Not based on any mathematical formula.
Just
it just happens that $214,500 is the penny math that was in the first binder that we handed to you. So we've now rounded down twice to do away with that new property. So where we've landed at is in the budget binder as it exists for the county, we're budgeting $32.3 million are going to come in property taxes in the upcoming year. The year that we're currently sitting in, which isn't even over, we still got more to come in. We've already collected 32.7. So we're saying that next year we're going to bring in less property taxes than this year. That is almost mathematically impossible.
It is.
Almost. I mean, you could have a massive COVID-like incident and the economy could crater into the ground, and it could happen. But the reason this particular year it's almost mathematically impossible is it's a reappraisal year. And what's going to come into next year's budget that wasn't in this year's, you got 130 million additional assessed property value in that personal property, the utility property, and the real property from both the growth and the removal of that ratio. So you've got another $2 million in property tax revenue coming next year that wasn't there this year.
So we should get
But
a
we're
rate decrease.
budgeting. Well, yeah, that ain't happening. We're not giving it back to anybody. But however, what is happening is they're going ultra conservative. I mean, like over the top conservative with the revenue.
I like
projection.
conservative.
And I like the word
I like
conservative. The issue is a couple weeks ago when we're on the formula that we've been using
We're
forever,
screaming.
the narrative was we got no money. We're broke. We can't help seniors. We can't add any people. We can't add anything to this department. Animal control came in and said, hey, we need a person. We got people out here on dangerous dog situations, and we can only send out one guy at a time. And like, sorry, we got no money. Sheriff's department came in and said, hey, we don't have enough guys out on patrol. They're like, we don't have any money. Fire department came in and said, hey, we need 3 or 6 guys. We don't have any money. I've got a story on the fire department. I was driving home from breakfast one morning this week, and I heard a code 2 medical call go out in the county, which that's not the you got shot and you're bleeding
Right.
out. That's the you don't respond with lights and siren, but it's a medical call.
Right.
Normally you'd send out an ambulance and somebody from the fire department. Fire department called back in to dispatch and said, sorry, we got no people. We're not sending anybody. So now the person still got an ambulance, but they didn't get the normal response, which would have been one unit from fire and one from EMS. So there are some real needs in some of those departments, and we're screaming, we got no money, yet there is more money there that's not being talked about, and it's not going to be budgeted for. Now we'll get to next spring, and I'll tell you what's going to happen, because I sit in these finance meetings I have for 4 years now. We're going to come in, we're going to say, hey, last year's property tax number was X. This year we're at X. They're going to say, oh man, we brought in another $2 million in property tax. And then the statement will be made, oh, but we budgeted for that. They did not budget for that this time. It's actually budgeting a loss. So just remember that next spring. Well, not that I'll say I told you so then, but we're going to say I told you so then.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if
yeah.
you saw yesterday, Brent Smith and I were talking about budget and so forth. And I've been reading and looking at some things. All right. So it sounds like to me that there's been this conservative tilt to like prepare for something that's coming. And I don't know what that is. Maybe it is or maybe it's not.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming.
All right. So
yeah.
So I was reading just online some counties and some other organizations. They used to basically go right to zero, start all over, do a reset, do procedural audits on how they're spending their money, what they're doing, and just start with zero and say, what's it going to take to run this department? What's it going to take to run that department this coming year? And they're starting over. And I know everybody's going to scream maintenance of effort on this and maintenance of effort on that. But at some point, you have to sometimes in your household, you have to say, look, let's just start all over. Let's see where we're at. We need to cut this. We need to cut this. This is throwing money away. This is anything ever going to happen to government like that in our local government?
Well, we're about to have a turnover, so we'll see what direction things go. I will tell you, I had a conversation this week with a department head that I won't mention, not from Bedford County, from a much bigger county that has much bigger budget than we do. Their county mayor sat down with them as the department head of this department this year. They went line by line through their budget, and they cut some stuff. And they said they had a particular line item he mentioned, and it was something, I think it was fuel or something. And he said, hey, I had this dollar figure in there, and I'd only been spending this much for the last couple of years. And the county mayor said, why do you have this dollar figure? And the department head said, hey, fuel costs could go up. And the county mayor said, yeah, but we need every dollar. And he whacked $5,000 out of that line item. And they went down item by item. And this was a much bigger county mayor with a department head from a much bigger department. And they went through and they literally one at a time went down through his budget, and they adjusted to numbers that because they needed that, and their county budget was getting out of hand, and they needed that kind of.
I think the big wall that's between government and our private citizens and the taxpayers is the fact that a taxpayer has to deal with these issues, and they have to make cuts. Government seems to never want to make cuts. I mean, but when the people out there are struggling, you got to be real extra careful how you're spending the tax money. So I'm going to say you're going to see this happening more and more and more. What this mayor did, you're going to have to get the pencil out and start.
Going to have to. I can tell you the city one. We'll get next week. We're going to have a lot more to say about the city budget again. because there's a lot of stuff about to happen in the upcoming week that we'll be able to announce next week. But yeah, both sides, county and city, it's about to get a lot tighter, and I think there's a real danger that there's going to be some kind of tax increase coming down the pipe sooner rather than later on both sides of that, and it's because of a number of issues, not the least of which is the runaway inflation that's happened everywhere.
Exactly what it is.
Yeah. So that's it on the budget that I want to talk about. I do want to cover the rest of the meeting, though. There's a couple other things brought up which tie back into the numbers we just talked about. They gave the monthly report on the current year property tax. This year, they're up $1 million over the previous year as we sit right now. And sales tax revenue this year is up $870,000 over the previous year. On the property tax side of that, that's all based on growth. We continue to have new things built. So as you get new things built, they come on the tax roll. Sales tax, it could be a combination of people spending more. It could also just be the inflation. Things cost more.
That's what it is.
More sales tax revenue. So that's just the way that works. Another item was brought up off the agenda about large farm animals. There was a program that the county was under that basically, I believe there was a free service offered to farmers. If you had a cow, a horse, a goat, whatever, any kind of a large farm animal that died. You just called. They came and picked it up.
Right.
That program has gone away. The county, it's still a big need in the county. They gave some numbers. I didn't write them down. There's a few hundred that need to be disposed of
every week
year.
there's something.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, something happening. So there's a new program they're going to get on. Farmers, they're going to start charging them something, so they're not getting it for free. They'll be paying, the number they're talking about is $50 right now. But it is going to be one of those things, not currently in the budget, but they're going to have to find money for it because the county's going to have to pick up the balance of the costs.
Yeah.
So, and then last but not least, this wasn't covered, but was in a handout that was given out, and the person wasn't there to cover it, but I'm going to cover it because it was there, and nobody talked about it.
There you go. We need to talk about it.
Yeah. Several of our schools have structural issues that have been found. I think we covered this a couple months ago when we saw it noted first. There's been some further research by engineers. Cascade Middle needs $20,000 in repairs. Aiken Elementary needs $15,000 in repairs. Southside Elementary has structural issues. They're still working on estimate. Central High School has issues, still working on estimate. And Harris Middle School needs $15,000 in repairs. So there's a few more line items.
Here's what happens, Josh, when you build a building. You're going to have structural issues down the road, just like my house.
Yeah. Eventually, you got to fix something.
There's going to be a crack in the brick somewhere.
Something's
going to happen.
Fixed.
It's going to happen.
Just want to point that out. Nobody actually talked about it, but it was in a report that was handed out that a lot of people will not see. You have to actually, not to get off on a tangent, but that's one. This particular committee, and this is something I'd love to see changed in the upcoming administration. Hint, whoever gets in. This is the only county committee that doesn't publish their paperwork on the county website. I have to file a public records request.
That should be the first thing on there, man.
1 week in advance every month to get this paperwork, and that's where this report.
They should put if we have a checkbook, I assume we do.
Yeah.
We should print that out. It's the taxpayers' money. Everything should be disclosed. You shouldn't have to fill out a form for it.
Yeah, well,
and you should be able to see a copy of the check if you want a copy of the check, Josh.
Right. Yeah.
It's taxpayer money.
Should be able to. Like I said, this is one that it still bugs me a little bit that I do fill out a public records thing every month to get this, and it's not published all of it. Now, pieces of it do make it into the county commission thing eventually, but the entire packet does not. So, Tuesday evening, left immediately from the finance committee, went over to the Shelbyville Power, Water, and Sewer Board, and only made it through power. I didn't get through water and sewer because they got to talking and I had somewhere I had to be. Yeah. But I did want to point out that at the power board, they did mention we got the new fast chargers over there across from the Fly, and they were surprised, and I was a little bit. They've been operational for 23 days, and already 31 people have charged up their car over there. So 31 people. About $450 it's brought in so far on the fast chargers. So,
very good. Very
so
good. There are more electric cars here than we realize. I saw one of those cyber trucks the other day. One of those
just driving down the road.
Trucks, and I saw 2 or 3 Teslas this week. So they're here.
Yeah, there's more around than you would notice. So those are actually getting some use. So.
Do you realize how much more an electric vehicle weighs than a typical gas burning vehicle?
I've never tried to lift either one.
Don't
but
try, Josh, because it's about twice the weight.
I'd probably.
I did not realize that.
Yeah,
And it's because of the batteries.
because the batteries.
Yes,
Huh.
the whole thing is a battery. Basically, it's a rolling computer with a
Yeah,
big battery.
I think that. Yeah, basically
Under the chassis, it's just like
the
loaded.
undercarriage is a big
with
old
cells.
battery.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't have one. Mine, I put gas in mine.
I do too.
I put gas in, but that's just me. The reason I had to leave the power board early, I was videoing.
Yes,
the
you were.
Tuesday evening sheriff's debate. We're not going to get too deep into this because this has been a topic of much dissent
Yes.
and discussion on the interwebs. And
But-
you start. First,
I
then I'll go
want to tell
somewhere.
you this: the story behind this, not the debate, but that
Yeah.
we were asked to do a live stream this so everybody could see it live.
Right.
There's an issue with bandwidth in that facility.
Yeah, it's a metal building at the
yeah.
Ag Center.
Yeah, and the main Ag Center building where it's air conditioned. This one was the warehouse space.
Yeah.
It has a Wi-Fi signal, and you can't do a live stream with a 4K camera and keep a steady signal where everybody can see it and hear it.
Yeah.
You got a big problem when you're uploading 4K video and audio. It takes a lot of bandwidth. There's
Yeah.
no bandwidth out there. We have a lot of areas in our city, in our county, where you just can't do it.
You just can't live
You
stream.
just about what we have here is a direct line coming in off the fiber optic stuff.
Yeah, you're hardwired in.
We're
fiber.
hardwired in,
Yeah.
even sitting here. So it's difficult to
Yeah.
do a live stream
Yeah.
and have a steady stream. So that's the reason you were doing the video.
That's why I did the video.
Yeah.
I was one of 4 video cameras set up in the front, and I'm glad we were set up in the front because one overheated. One, I don't know what happened. I saw the video briefly online and then it went away. I'm not sure if there were some issues with video quality or whatever. And then the other one was somebody from MTSU or something. I don't know where that video went to or if it's ever going to be posted or not, but I've not seen that
Yeah.
arrive. So luckily your our little
Our
little
round-
cheapy camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It did
was
a good
enough.
job, Josh.
yeah, the reason we got that camera is because of audio, not video.
Yeah.
The video, I mean, they're all potato quality, but
Right,
you can hear
right.
what they're saying. So
Yeah.
that's the important thing.
It turned out good.
Yeah. Okay. To the debate. And let me, I almost brought a prop with me this morning. I'm going to go down a kind of a general road here. I almost brought a hammer with me
Yeah.
today. A hammer is a tool.
Yes.
Social media is a tool.
Yes.
I can do good things with a hammer. I can drive a nail into
Yes.
the wall. I could beat you over the head with a hammer. That's not a
Yes,
good
That's
thing.
not a good thing.
You could also beat somebody over the head in social media. And a lot of that has been going on
Tell me
social
about
media.
it.
It's great, a great tool, social media is, much like a hammer is, if it's used right. But if you use it the wrong way, it ain't so great. I'm gonna go out and just give my personal opinion on what's going on, and not just this particular race, but the general
Overall.
tone
Mhm.
of the election, and it's even happening on the federal level. Actually, I think it started on the federal level. It's
Probably,
kind of
yeah.
trickled
Oh, yeah,
down to
yeah.
the local level. We got a lot of people that are really in love with candidate A.
Yeah.
Got a lot of people really in love with candidate B. That's great. If you love candidate A, go online and tell me how great candidate A is. Good on you.
Yeah.
The problem is these people that love candidate A, they're not going out there and telling me how great candidate A is.
No.
They're going on Facebook and TikTok or wherever they're going, and they're telling me how bad candidate B is. Candidate B is the worst person ever. I hate candidate B. He did this. She did that.
Yeah. Well,
They were there. They did this. They did that. And then the candidate B supporters are telling me, man, candidate A, he hates puppies. He hates children.
I know.
He hates this. She hates that.
I know.
That's this is just my personal
Yeah.
opinion. That's where I think we've gone a little bit overboard on social media is, if you love candidate A, tell me how great candidate A is.
That's all we need to hear.
I want to hear how great candidate A is. I don't want to hear, I know you love candidate A. I don't need to hear how much you hate candidate B.
Yeah.
Because whenever I know you think you're telling me something about candidate B that I would never hear anywhere else, but it's 2026. It's the internet. I already know all about
Yeah.
candidate A and candidate B.
Yeah.
I've heard all
Oh,
that,
I know.
and I've heard more than I want to hear about all of it. I was buying coffee yesterday afternoon with my friends at Grindstone, and the 2 ladies behind the counter are like, "Is the sheriff's race ever going to be over? I'm tired of all this." And I said, "It's close." I said, "It's close." So to the debate itself. Through the magic of our friends at AI, because I'm bad at crowd estimates, I took pictures from the four corners of the room as the debate was going on, and my friends at AI tell me there was approximately 350 people there. That jives with the fact that we heard before the live stream, we were told they'd set up for 300. There were some additional chairs since they set up. So we're going to say in the 300 to 400 range of people were there. It was hotter than crap, David. That building doesn't have air conditioning.
I know.
It has fans to move air.
Can't turn
They had to
fans on.
turn all the fans off
Yeah.
because you couldn't hear. So it was so hot in there.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I just want to point out is it was a room and you had the table at the front, you had the two candidates, you had the moderator in the middle, which is a little unusual setup for a debate. But you could run a straight line like a laser, just straight down the middle of the room. And the one side of the room was for candidate A, and the one side of the room was for candidate B. They had different color clothes on.
Yeah.
And when one candidate said something, everybody clapped. And when the other candidate said something, everybody clapped. And I heard from two different people that one of whom was sitting on one side of this imaginary line. That there was nobody set this up and said, "Hey,
I
this
know.
is you sit here if you're
It
this."
just
and this."
happened.
But I heard from one person in particular. They said I was sitting there. And the debate started, and I got a text, and it was somebody from across the room said, "You're sitting on the wrong side."
Oh gosh.
And then I heard from another guy, and he said, I was sitting there and I started to feel uncomfortable. I thought I was being judged by the people on the other side of the room. So I had to get up and move.
Guess what? He's correct.
So now me personally, I'm not on a camp.
I know.
We've been very careful. I'm not endorsing. That's why we're not even getting into the details of the debate. The video is online. Watch the video if you care about. We're not going to talk about the issues or whatever in that debate, in that race. Go on and watch the video. Let the candidates speak for themselves. But I'll tell you, just because I was worried that there was a line down the middle, I spent some time on one side of the room, and then I walked outside the building. I spent some time on the other side of the room because I knew people on both sides of the line, and they're all good people on both sides of that line. A lot of them are my friends.
Right.
They're people I've known for a while, and I'm not getting into the weeds on that. I feel like it's like I said, it's gone more than a little bit overboard on social media for sure. Both two great guys running, and that takes us to another point, which is, and it was mentioned kind of in a joking manner right at the end of the debate, which is, did anybody notice we have a race going on for county mayor?
There is one.
There is a race going on for county mayor, and nothing against the sheriff's office, which is an important office in the county and county government. But I got to tell you, as just a regular guy, other than the fact that I happen to go to a lot of meetings and have met and know of more than probably a normal person does in the sheriff's department, it really doesn't have the biggest impact on my day-to-day life.
No, it doesn't.
I'm in the city. If I call for police, I get city police first. Right. And then fortunately, I try not to go over the speed limit when I'm driving through the county. So none of them have pulled me over, which is not to downplay the importance. Sheriff's office is an important office, but for my day-to-day, what goes on in my life, who gets into that mayor spot is probably going to have a bigger impact on what goes on.
They shape county government.
Yeah. As far as who's getting on the committees, what happens with the tax rate and all that. I know the commission votes on all that, but the mayor is kind of the glue that holds all that together. And he's that's a full-time county mayor. Unlike city mayor, is a full-time position. They're in oversight over the county government. They're there, and it's not just a 40-hour week deal. I mean, they're 7 days a week. They're on call all the time. Which leads me into, it is not yet announced. I've been hoping my friend would announce it, and I have not seen a post yet. But to my understanding, coming up on July 16th, which is a Thursday at 6:30 in the evening, just pencil that in on your calendar. There will be an official announcement, hopefully in the next couple of days. There will be a county mayor's forum happening in the city.
Where will that be?
I believe we've nailed down the Capri is going to be the location for that, is what I'm told.
Nice.
And even though I'm the one saying it first, and it may have been posted this morning, I've missed it. It is actually has nothing to do with me or you or showing up. This is going to be just like the one that was held in Flat Creek. Yeah, this is going to be hosted by James Wood. This is going to be put on by the Bedford County Post. They've invited all of the county mayor candidates. Last I'd heard, 4 to 5. There's 6 of them running. At least 4 or 5 of them had already confirmed the date and the time. So I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. There will be an official, and we'll post the official announcement when it happens. And I do think it's important because there's been almost no discussion that I've seen, not a ton of discussion anyways, online about the county mayor's race. That's another big one that should be discussed. You need to make up your mind on who you're going to vote for. So
But before we leave the election talk,
Yeah.
and back to your comment on the social media, I'm
Yeah.
with you 100%. I put a little article together maybe 10 days or so ago about we need a reset in our politics. I feel like that for some reason, if you start debating about the issues and talking about the actual issues, it turns personal real quick when it gets on social media.
Oh yeah.
We should be able to have a discussion about a senior property tax freeze, our property taxes in general, whether we should do this or do that as a group of people and as a group of taxpayers. We should be able to debate that and still call each other a bonehead occasionally and laugh about it,
Occasionally.
and then go to church together
Yeah.
or go to the ball field together or go out to eat together, and not let that spill over to where it turns into a divide of just hatred. I mean, it's gotten ridiculous. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Our social media has poured gas on that fire of where we can't have a civil discussion. Somebody's got to get the last word in always.
Right.
And it's on Facebook, and it never ends because somebody's always got to have the last word. And there is no last word, Josh.
There's no last word. And I've watched quite a few of our comment threads, and I can say very rarely have I seen somebody change their mind because somebody
No.
have a better comment than the other person.
And I
So,
want to ask you this, since you were
Yeah.
there, how many people you think they changed their mind on their candidate the other night at that debate?
as far as I could tell, everybody.
Nobody went across the line?
I didn't see a bunch of people crossing lines. So
Okay.
it seemed like most of them that were there in person had their mind fairly
Yeah.
made up.
Yeah.
It was the direction it was headed. Now, that was the good thing about having the video. Now, another 40,000 views have happened on the video, 40 some thousand. So a lot of people got to see it that weren't able to be there. So maybe something was changed, but
Who knows?
We'll find
We
out in
won't
a few
know. Yep,
weeks.
yep.
We'll find out in a few weeks. Tuesday, same eevening, just while that debate was going on, just up at the historic courthouse on the square, the County Planning Commission was meeting. They had a couple different rounds of discussion on data centers, which are all the hot topic. If
Big,
you've been on the
topic.
internet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they sent a recommendation to include to pass a 1-year data center moratorium onto the county commission. I would expect they will be voting on that at their July meeting. They didn't really mention a date, but that's
Yeah.
the next county commission meeting. I happened to catch that on Wednesday morning, and I didn't realize they were fast tracking it that quick because we'd had some early discussions at the City Planning Commission the month before. So we went ahead. I got with our planning director and city attorney, and we also, since they were fast tracking in the county, we need to kind of stay in alignment.
Yep.
So we got on our agenda, and the City Planning Commission on Thursday evening, we sent a similar 1-year moratorium on data centers to City Council for them to vote on. We also included with ours some initial changes to our zoning ordinance that just goes ahead and starts us down the path of getting some regulation. It's not, eventually there's going to need to be a long document. So
Yeah.
it's going to define it. That's going to give rules, setbacks, decibel levels, infrastructure usage, water, like all that. We didn't have time for all that in 2 days,
Yeah.
but we were able to get it, get some classification, some definition set up. So all of that is going to City Council, will be on the July 7th voting meeting agenda. And I know in our comment section, a few people seem to be confused by the word recommendation. The recommendation was not to allow data centers.
Right. Exactly.
The
the opposite, yeah.
recommendation, which sounds like a positive word, was to moratorium data centers for 1 year, which is just put any application that would come in on hold for a 12-month period until we can get all the regulations.
It's amazing what one word can do.
Yeah, I know. It was a little confusing, but that's what happened there. In addition, at that Thursday evening meeting, I'm always obstinate and stubborn. I don't always vote with the majority. And in this case, I voted no on one item that people may be like, what in the world were you doing? But we had we were a month late already. We still have some issues with our regulations on open space and green
Yeah.
space and multifamily developments. It's needed to be fixed for a few months. It was supposed to have come last month. We weren't able to get on the agenda. It did come on the agenda Thursday night, and then we talked it to death. So, and it ended up getting deferred another month. So I was a little frustrated with the fact that we've continued to kick that can down the road. So I did vote no on the deferral. It was a losing vote because I knew I didn't have enough votes to go ahead and vote on it. But it's just something that's important. We need to get on it, and we've taken longer than we should have. So hopefully next month we'll
Yeah.
get it done. So
Well, I know you like your trees and your grass, Josh.
Um,
And I think most people in Bedford County like trees and grass, and they like the hillsides, and they like the environment around here.
well, trees and grass are one thing, and those are, yeah, that's part of it. But it's also part of, if we get these developments, which we're getting more and more of them here locally, they need to have some space for kids to
Sure.
get out and play, for people to get out
Otherwise-
and walk, for you to walk your dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in a neighborhood that's got a lot of people, and it keeps getting more people, and there's less and less room for people to walk their dogs. And we've got a HOA, David.
They're gonna be in your backyard, Josh.
Well, I'll tell you what we got. We got a Facebook group. Don't ever get on a neighborhood Facebook group, because we've got people now. You get videos of people posting the neighbor's dog coming over and crapping in their yard,
Yeah.
and they're complaining about the neighbor's dog, and the neighbors, and part of all of that goes back to not having adequate space. There
Yeah.
wasn't enough space set aside. This was under very old standards. For you get that many people in that small of an area, they
Yeah.
got dogs, they got kids, they got
Sure.
somebody's riding a scooter, somebody's riding a motorbike. Everybody starts complaining about everybody. You need a little bit of space. People
Yeah.
need their space. So yeah, so we're
I
something we need to.
I
work on.
want to address Jenny McKee's comment.
Yeah,
here.
go ahead. What you
Jenny. I think you misunderstood or maybe I misspoke. I don't know. I'm not blaming social media on our problems. I'm not blaming social media. Social media is just a platform.
It's a tool
It's a tool, like you illustrated Hammer.
that's been misused.
Yeah, as
sometimes.
far as his campaign goes,
Yeah.
the hatred between people and the division between people has been amplified because of social media. I'm not saying social media is because we might have mediocre government. It has nothing to do with it. That's just a way of communicating. I think we should be able to discuss openly and have an open forum on what we need to do in local government. And I think the people that sit on the commission and people sit on the city council should be able to have a civil discussion without it getting inflamed on social media and getting to a point to where you're in gridlock nonstop. For us to move things forward, we have to have open dialogue and collaborate to move forward. So, Jenny, I hope you didn't understand. I'm not trying to blame our government issues on social media. It has nothing to do with it. I think it just creates a bigger divide within our community.
Yeah,
Not-
and the
not
good
to-
and
yeah.
the good side and the proper use and the good tool of social media is the putting the information out,
Right.
the transparency, the fact that you and I can sit here on a Saturday morning and
do
shoot
this.
the breeze,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
know, a few hundred or a few thousand people later can hear about what went on in local government in the last week that otherwise we wouldn't have a way to get that information out there that used to only be available on a newspaper
If
that
somebody
showed
does-
up at your house once a week or
If-
twice a week
If somebody decided to disclose
if
that
they
information.
decide to publish it. So yeah,
so
it just-
Jenny, I hope you
yeah.
didn't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not blaming
Yeah.
social media on all of our government issues. It has nothing to do with it. Two are completely separate. It's just the way we are reacting as a public and the way we're behaving.
Yeah.
It gets ridiculous. Okay.
it gets out of hand.
So I hope
sometimes.
Jenny didn't misunderstand what I was saying.
Well, hopefully you clarified.
Maybe so. Maybe
you,
so.
you did a fine job. With that, I think that is all from the past week that I'm going to cover. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say from last week. There is not that I can remember. We do have some stuff coming up this week that I do want to talk about, but maybe we could hear from our sponsors one more time, and then we'll come back and talk about what's coming up in the upcoming week.
Absolutely. We'll be right back right after this.
For clear vision and trusted care, choose Cutting Edge Optical. We offer comprehensive eye exams powered by 2020 exams, expert contact lens fittings, and a wide selection of quality frames to match your style and budget. Need glasses fast? We even offer same-day eyeglasses to keep you seeing clearly without the wait. Our experienced team is committed to personalized service and helping you see your best every day. Visit Cutting Edge Optical at 1114 North Main Street in Shelbyville, or call 931-488-5778 to schedule your appointment today.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
When you're ready to buy or sell in Middle Tennessee, you want someone who knows this community inside and out. Meet Diane and Madison Arnold, Shelbyville's trusted real estate team with decades of local experience and award-winning results. Whether it's finding your dream home, pricing your property to sell, or navigating every step of the transaction with confidence, they're with you from start to finish. As part of Coldwell Banker Southern Realty, they pair hometown expertise with powerful market tools to help you move with confidence. Call Diane and Madison today and experience the personal service and local knowledge that makes all the difference.
All right, welcome back in here on the weekend wrap up. Josh, I know you got the week ahead to talk about. What we got going, man?
Week ahead. As far as government meetings, Tuesday's the day. Tuesday's a big day. Tuesday evening, last day of the month, and we will both sides of government have waited the very last possible day and are going to pass their budgets. We got the city and the county will pass budgets Tuesday evening.
You think they're going to pass? That's optimistic, huh?
I'm fairly sure.
Are they worthy of being passed, Josh?
I hesitate to use the word worthy, but they will both pass.
Okay.
Neither will have, I can tell you this pretty confidently, neither one will have a property tax increase because
You can't.
Well, technically they actually cannot, because this is a reappraisal year.
Yeah.
If they had wanted to even offer the option to go above the certified tax rate, there were certain notifications they had to publish in the newspaper that they did not. So it will stay the same.
There's another reason
with the
you can't.
certified.
This is
It's
election year.
Yeah, that's
just
the
can't
other
do
reason.
that. You
yeah.
can't do that.
That's the other reason. So, but they also technically can't
Yeah.
because they had to publish a
Right.
notice that they were going to exceed the certified tax rate that had been in the
Mhm,
newspaper a certain
mhm.
amount of time, and none of them did that.
Not happening.
So the tax rates will be, and I don't have them here in front of me. I'll give you the round numbers. They go up to 4 decimal places now. I'm like, can we not round these? There's actually a note on the bottom that says you cannot round.
And you can't even give somebody a penny at McDonald's. Are you kidding me? And we're
And
going to
we're
do it
going
on
to
a
4
budget.
decimal
4
places.
digits.
So,
What
yeah.
does
So
that coin look like?
So the county rate is going to be, if you round it off to actual pennies, we're going to call it $1.51 because it's like
Okay.
1.5098, I believe. And then the city one, we're going to call it $1 and a penny.
That's done to impress us, Josh.
Yeah,
They have a calculator.
Yeah, we're going to call it $1 and a penny at the city because the city rate
Oh.
is like 1.009.
Oh,
I believe,
come
or
on,
something.
man.
I don't know. I don't remember. But that is those are the new numbers. Everybody, the Board of Equalization did all their work. Everybody should have received in the mail, if they had a change, they should have received their final property appraisal.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're stuck with it for the next 5 years.
They did their work all right.
They did their work. So yep, that's where you're at for
Uh,
the next 5 years. And let me answer because a question just came across. What happened to revenue neutral? Those two numbers I read off.
That's supposed to be revenue neutral.
There's a lot of math that goes into what they call revenue neutral. But anyways,
Yeah.
if you look at the sheet that the state gives out, they back out all the new personal property and all the new real property that came on since the previous year. Use that number with the old number. There's some magic math that goes on.
It's magic,
and
man.
You end up with this number. And there are definitely, if you own particularly acreage out in the county, outside the city limits of Shelbyville, or actually probably if you had acreage inside the city limits, anywhere in Bedford County, if you have acreage, because of a number of higher dollar transactions that have taken place over the last year or two because of development and whatnot, you are likely going to pay more property taxes after all this is shaken out, because the value of land went up so much. It wasn't the value of buildings. Buildings didn't go up a crazy amount, but I saw land. Well, and you got one that was
I don't want to talk
ridiculous. We're
about
not
it.
gonna
It's,
talk about the one you
it's the
got.
highest.
I think it was the
increase
highest
in the
increase in the
county
county.
instead of the county.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was some.
I'm not
magic,
even going to
so,
talk about that.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, hey, and Diane gave me the exact. She had
Oh,
my
yes,
penny
yeah,
right.
that-
1.5083.
All right. I want to see what 8.83 of a penny looks like, because I've been told by a lot of merchants that pennies don't exist.
Yeah, so
I've been told that.
yeah.
And
so-
back to Ron Reed's thing, it's this whole thing. Josh went through all this, and he still could talk for the rest of the day about all that. It is fixed so it's so complicated that the taxpayer will never get a straight answer. That's what's happening, Josh.
Yeah.
It's so complicated. We can't understand it. We're dumb. We need to sit in court and just listen.
Well, I will give you one, and it's only a slight positive because I happen to pay attention to another jurisdiction, Mount Juliet, the big city of Mount Juliet. They put out a press release, and this got picked up by the paper. It said Mount Juliet lowered their property tax rate this year, so they were at 29 cents, and this year it's 28 cents.
Point what?
No, that's it. 28.
Okay,
28.
okay.
However, they had a reappraisal. So their certified rate was really 17 cents. So they put out a big press release. We lowered your rate, but all the values had shot through the roof. So everybody in Mount Juliet is going to be paying way more taxes. They're going to be very confused when they read the newspaper article versus what actually happened to their tax bill.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so they slid through a tax increase by
Yeah.
lowering it a
Yeah,
penny,
yeah,
even though
yeah.
the so
Well,
that's-
Josh, back to the penny situation.
Yeah.
Just for the record, in case anybody wants to see a penny, McDonald's on Madison Street, I know for a fact has 13 of them because I gave them 13 pennies this morning when I went through drive-through.
Oh, you
They
paid
have
them with
pennies, and
Okay.
they do exist.
They do exist.
Yep,
So-
I handed them to them.
All right. Other than the budget votes, Tuesday evening, City Council, we have, because I've received agendas, and actually one of the two is on the city website already, I believe. We got a lot of stuff about to happen in the city involving with city government, involving property deals. We'll talk about them a lot more next week after they've actually happened on the floor. More of it's public. One of them was raised though in the school board, so I'll mention it real quick. The city is hoping that the school board will sell them the 4 acres of extra property they have behind Cartwright Elementary. That was that's for the fire department. That's part of a study that was done by MTAS actually 4 years ago now. It's 2022. I've got the study where the city has been behind on their fire coverage. There's a big old gap. If you look
Yeah.
at the maps in the presentation, there's a gap in fire coverage in the middle of the city. Every 4 or 5 years or so, I don't know the exact
We're
number.
going to get rated, aren't we?
There's a ISO rating. There's a person or a group. I don't know if it's one person or a group that come down, look at our fire coverage, do all the measurements, and they rate us based on our fire coverage. We're at risk of getting a higher number at our next rating if we don't get this hole in the city fixed soon as far as fire coverage. So that is one of several property things that's going to be discussed. The issue with that is, and I'll go ahead and say it here on the front end, because none of this, we're about to have to spend money.
I know.
You know what happens when you have to spend money.
Josh,
I know.
we're fixing to have to borrow money,
Probably going to have to borrow some
and we're
money.
probably going to have to go up on some taxes somewhere.
Somewhere down the road, this is going to cost money. And I hate it, and you hate it, and by God, we're going to hear about it once it starts happening. But let me just kind of give you some of the backstory and how we got to where we're at, which is we all hate it. So it's been hated enough for about 20 or 30 years that nobody would do it.
I know.
And now we've got gaps in our fire coverage. We got a police department that we've got our supervisors work out of cells,
Jail cells.
jail cell, literally work
I
out of
know.
jail cells.
They've been there a long time.
long time. They take in evidence on the lunch table.
Okay.
Literally,
I
the
know.
table they eat lunch
I
in is
know.
where the evidence gets sorted out. It gets stored in a broom closet, basically, for lack of a better term. It's been kicked down the road for years because nobody wants to pay for it. And the problem is, had it been fixed
20 years ago.
20 years ago, you probably could have built all this for about
Fraction.
a fraction.
A
We've
fraction.
now waited until inflation and this and that and COVID and whatnot has raised the price of construction and materials and everything through the roof, and the problem still ain't fixed. So short of continuing to not fix the problem and just bury your head in the sand,
Yep.
what point do you pull the trigger and fix the problem? Or do you just continue to bury your head in the sand and pretend like, hey, we don't need more firemen or police officers, or we're going to keep adding
We
new,
need more sand.
we need more sand to bury our head in?
Yeah. All right, Chuck Glover. All right,
Yeah.
Ron Reed asked about what happens to the property values suddenly decrease because they're temporarily overvalued. What happens then? Well, it'll come back down, and they'll make that a net revenue,
Yeah.
no increase. All right, Chuck Glover, does that affect property insurance rates? He's talking about ISO ratings. ISO ratings, you go from 0 to 4, and that's typically within inside the city limits of a municipality. When it goes over 4, it goes 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 being the extreme areas in the county, which that's pretty much all of Bedford County. I think is an 8. I'm
Somewhere
not sure.
there. Yeah, they're a much higher number. City, I believe our ISO is
Three
three
right
right
now.
now. We're at a
Yeah.
3.
So
but
we
yeah,
don't want to go to 4 because 4 is going to equate
It
to
will
about
raise
a 30%.
everybody's.
Yes.
Well, let me take that back.
Depends on your
It
address.
and it depends on your carrier. I did find out because we had these discussions as we were talking about this. Certain insurance carriers don't look at the local rating; they look at a more regional composite number.
Right.
So, however, other big names, I'm not going to mention names, big names that you and I would know that are big carriers, they do look at the rate when they set the rate
Yep.
on your commercial and your residential property. So if you're with one of those carriers, it could really hurt you.
Yeah.
If you're with some of the other ones that look at a regional, it might hurt you less. Either way, it's not good for
No.
your insurance rate.
We don't need to be a
So,
4. If we're a 4, we're going to go up.
yeah, and it hurts businesses way more than it does residential
Yeah.
because your business insurance is a lot higher than what you're paying
Big
on
time.
a house.
Because
So,
a lot of times you have inventory, you have the structure itself costs a lot
Yeah.
more.
yeah, so that's why that's the case with the fire. But like I said, a lot of moving parts. Watch the if you get a lot of free time on your hands and you live in the city, you can always watch those 2 meetings. We're starting at 5:00 Tuesday night. Gonna have a lot of stuff we got to blow through quickly. So yeah, there'll be a lot going on at those meetings, and we'll have a lot more to say about that next weekend. Also, I believe next weekend, 4th of July weekend.
July the 4th is
If
next
I'm doing the
Saturday.
math, Friday night in the square starting at 4:00. They're burying the time capsule at 4. They're having some patriotic music. There's somebody riding a horse around the square.
You riding a horse?
I ain't riding a horse. No, I'd probably fall off.
Okay. Well, we got some horses now up there.
We have some new.
I saw the
horses.
pictures.
Yep.
One of them
very
was
nice-
painted up, man.
Both of them were painted.
How long those
Yeah.
things going to stay up there before somebody tries to ride them off?
Well, they better not because they're fiberglass, and I think
Uh,
I heard if they were a little oversized like myself, they probably could do damage.
Man,
to
I'll just
it.
tell you,
So,
your
yeah.
target, their targets, Josh.
Well, I hope not.
I
But
know.
yeah, those are good. But anyways, Friday night, 4, and this goes all the way to 8:00 after the stuff at the courthouse happens. It's moving over to the new Riverview district,
Yeah.
which is where the new concrete and stuff is over
Yeah.
there. And they're going to have a concert and a bunch of other stuff. July 4th is the big thing at the park, HV Griffin Park. I believe it starts at 5, goes till the fireworks start shooting off
Yeah.
about 9:00. I believe War Trace has an event. Are they the one with the hot? Somebody's doing a hot air balloon. I think it's War Trace. Got the hot air balloon at theirs.
Hot air balloons don't work well around here, but Josh.
Hot air balloon. I believe theirs might be on the 3rd. Bell Buckle has a thing on the 4th. So there's a lot of 4th of July, America 250.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big time stuff.
America
America.
events. A lot of America events.
Yeah.
So go out and celebrate next weekend. But I believe, even though it's the 4th, I'm planning. You gonna be here next Saturday morning? I'm gonna be here next Saturday
I'll
morning.
be here.
probably. Yeah.
I ain't got no choice.
Yeah, you got no choice. So we'll be back, same place, same time, same channel next weekend, and we'll talk about what happened Tuesday night. We'll talk about what happened Friday night at the big event on the square, and anything else that happens between
Yeah.
now and then. So
Guys, thanks for participating today. Thanks for watching. We thank our sponsors. Once again, we'll see you same place, same time next week. Have a great weekend.
yep, so long.